Hi everybody, Kelly Sue with Cleopatra Arts here, and I have received a lot of email requests or questions on the painting we did the other night ago and the palette knife technique in the background. A lot of you were like, do that again. I'm not quite sure. How do I get started? What do you mean a hack? And so I wanted to just get back with you. It's just a fun way to do a background. We've done these on canvases, on paper, and this is of course on wood. So first off, palette knives, you can get them metal, you can get them plastic. I do prefer the metal. You can see this one's more well loved, but I have a lot of plastic around because of the paint kits we use, or the paintbrush kits we buy. And then the triangular one is really fun too. If you don't have one of these at home, and they're very inexpensive, they're always in a paintbrush kit, typically from Michaels. But if you don't have one, let's say you went away with the girls for the weekend and you forgot to pack one, you could take the room key card, go get an extra, cut it into thirds lengthways, and give it a bend. Mine's not quite half, but what you can do is use this as a palette knife. I've also used playing cards, though they get saturated pretty quick, but the slick side of them allows for that drag that we're looking for to get that fun technique. So I always say give a practice. If you have like mixed media paper, you could practice on that, or a spare piece of wood. In this case, I just have an extra piece of wood I'm practicing on. I have a piece of tape running down the center, and I've painted my piece cream, but you can choose whatever background you want. The one thing to keep in mind is if you have colors that are gonna mix and make brown, basically anything across from each other on the color wheel, you should dry between different coats. Okay, so it's just a crazy fun technique, and you gotta know that one or two passes is gonna look awkward. It's about playing with your work until you're happy. Okay, so I have my favorite metallic black from Artist Loft. I'm gonna use that. I'm going to pull out some gold, let's do some blue, something bright. And it's very possible that the blue and gold will mix and make a little green on here. So the colors that would normally mix and make a color, if your colors are not quite dry, the same thing's gonna happen. You know, we're just gonna be smart about it and blow dry if we need to. And here's some white if we wanna soften something that got messed up. All right, so I say don't scoop. Sometimes I do on a canvas, but this is a smooth piece of wood, so I don't scoop. Instead, let me see if I can show you this. I lay my paintbrush, I'm calling it a paintbrush, because what is it? It's allowing us to get our paint from something to something else. And then I do scrape some off. The biggest mistake I've ever seen people make is they have way too much paint on their palette knife. And then if you start in the center, you'll have a bare spot. So we're just gonna start, kind of drag, see what you get. I still have more paint on there, so I can kind of drag it skinny ways. I would say that's way too much. I held it like a little hulky. I am not concerned about this at all because we're gonna cover it up. Just like with all types of art, of painting, we're gonna cover it up. So I'm going in there, I'm taking off the extra. I'm not pushing real hard. I almost have a little edge to it, like a snowboard edge. And I am just doing vertical brush strokes. Okay, so go ahead and wipe your paintbrush, palette knife, excuse me. Wipe it down. So you can cover this up, and you could do it. You could just come in with some white, put some on, take some off. It's going to break it up, so it's not so noticeably So it's all about misdirection also. I love to do the edges. It's very satisfying for me to do this, and maybe it's going to be very satisfying for you also. If you are the type you like a little bit more control, a little type A, you may or may not, it might trigger OCD, I don't know. So just give it a go and see. So this gold isn't super bright. I feel like I need other colors too. How about that? I have a cream. I'm just gonna come in and break it up some. So you're just gonna play with that. Please excuse me, sorry about that. I'm gonna bring out some Bahama Blue. It's very similar to the blue that I'm already using, but it's a little bit more Hello Bahama-ish. You're just gonna start playing, and then you're gonna find your rhythm. And you're just gonna start getting in here. When do you stop? You have a little voice inside your head that says, do I need more? That's a perfect time to stop. My grandma always taught me that. And then you can kind of look at your work for a little bit. Check it out, see if you want to do something else. Remember, this is just a bottom layer. You're gonna be putting other fun stuff on top, and that's where the viewer's eye will go. It'll go to the dots and this fun stuff on top. And the back stuff will just be nice, pleasant noise. And if you don't love it, that's fine. You don't have to do this technique. We have lots of tutorials. You'll find one you like. So if you're watching today, hi, let me know where you're watching from. I want to demonstrate, and then you're just going to keep playing. I'd probably dry this, put a little bright green in there, have a lot of fun. You just don't want to add too many colors. So most of the colors I picked were near each other on the color wheel. Those are all friends. So if they're near each other on the color wheel, up to 5 spots apart, they're called analogous colors. That means they get along, they look good together. Nothing's gonna pop. So if I wanted something to pop, I would come across and I would do like a pink or a magenta or even a red purple or a flame orange or salmon. That'd be really cool. But for now, I'm just looking for a really subdued background that's going to give my work some texture that it's lacking. That's it. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the hack. It's really not much difference, though the surface area is wider, so it would be easier to pick up more paint. I'm just gonna kind of smear it in there. I don't know, I might have too much. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it. I almost always prefer these over the actual palette knives. You can go skinny ways, you can go long ways. Let's get in there. I'm gonna really get in there. Let's see, oh, whoop. This is a great technique when you're trying to make a aged wood, aged fence look. You can see how that would work. To me, these work a little bit better. Not being cheap or anything, but when I would have 50 kids in a paint party, well, you don't always know where your paint palettes are, but I most always had these. Okay, I'm just gonna clean that up. Coming in, you can grab some white if you want to, or cream. I'm gonna go ahead and get the blue going. That's quite a bit of blue. But I just want to show you it's okay. So what you can do, I have the cream from my background on here. I can just soften it up. Oops, bring some white. So it is practice, and it's a little bit of a surprise every time you do one. A little bit of a surprise. This might not be for you. It's okay. Kind of have to know if you want to try something new. If not, if you just want to do really fine detail work, that's also awesome. You know that about yourself. And so I would probably dry this and come in with a contrasting color. I have a melon here that I think would be very contrasty without being super harsh. My paint's not necessarily dried yet. That'll get the dogs barking, huh? Here, let me just could be dry. It could be dry. Pretty old. I don't really use melon often. Let's give that a go. Okay. So my blue's not dry yet, but sometimes if I'm just gliding on top, the rules don't necessarily apply. They still do, don't get me wrong. But sometimes I'm not gonna make brown. That's super contrasty, but still soft. I really love it. It's also, to do the sides is fun too. I always like to deepen my sides or shadow my sides so that your artwork has a, hello Dudley, has an end zone basically. I don't know if there's a reason to take the tape off, but I think, I'm just gonna take the tape off so you can see the two differences. And remember, this is just a background that you'll be putting fun, glorious things on top, like this Hello Spring Rabbit. So hopefully that answered your questions, gave you a couple pointers on the palette knife. I'm saying get in there and play, maybe not on your work, play on a piece of canvas paper. I like mixed media paper. I just have a big tablet that I flip the pages, let them dry, and then I do have a background when I want to do something fun. And then also with the hack of the, oh, I'm already soaking it. The room, oh, here it is, the room key card. There we go. So we have a palette knife and the room key card. So hopefully that gave you something to play with this week and answered some of your questions. Have a good day, guys. Bye.